This is going to be an American perspective about living in Malawi. And I'm an American. This is my house, which kind of tells you how I feel about it because I built my retirement home here. My wife is Malawian, which is what first brought me here. But, I mean, if you're coming from America, this is not America. This is not even close. And there are many, many things here you will not understand. Some things are good, some things are not so good. Let's begin with this house, with the building practices that they have here. This is all brick and cement. Everything, this whole house is bricks and cement, which is the normal way of building things here in Malawi. It's typical. It's cheap. I built a 4,000 square foot home, brand new, on a beautiful lot in a beautiful location with a 2-bedroom, 2-bath servants' quarters. And I spent about 40 grand American money. So it's cheap. But then again, it's cheap. The bricks are like a nickel a piece, and they're worth less than that. Because these bricks in the wall over here, and any other bricks you ever see here, after a year or two, they start to, what they call melt, they start falling apart. Their cement's only 2 years old, and it's falling apart. See the cracks already. The bricks, as you'll see here, you see these are just coming to pieces. Just the rain makes them fall apart because they're not properly fired. And no two bricks are the same. And this causes problems in and of itself. Actually, in all of the building of this house, with all of the contractors and subcontractors, we haven't had one contractor who actually, I would say, knows what he's doing. They all screw up everything and then pretend like it's okay. It's very frustrating. So unless you want to build the house yourself, you have to be ready to deal with that kind of stuff. Unless you want to do the work on your own, by yourself, then you're going to have to deal with overseeing absolutely every minute of every bit of work that they do. Because otherwise it's just going to end up all screwed up, just like my house is. Now it's beautiful and all that, but you know, I'm an American and I've built houses in America, and I'm used to that, and I'm used to quality, and I'm used to workmanship, and I'm used to people being proud of their work. And these guys, nah, they just want a dollar. They don't give a crap about nothing. And to be honest, they've never been trained. They don't have any idea how to do the job correctly. Even if they've been doing it for 20 years, they still have no idea how to do it right. And that's what you're going to have to deal with. Most of the people who are auto mechanics do not own a car of their own because they can't afford it. And so they don't really understand how they work. But that's the only kind of people you got to deal with. There are auto mechanic shops, of course, but they're not much better. They hire anybody they can find. Now, as far as the lifestyle itself, I'd have to say you have a lot more freedom here than you do in America. As far as, you know, being able to do whatever you want to do. I mean, if it's your property and you feel like just piling up your trash and burning it, which is what everybody does because there's no public trash pickup, nobody cares. If you have a goat and you want to start selling goat meat, all you got to do is kill that goat and hang it up in a tree and start selling pieces off of it. You don't need a license, you don't need a permit, you don't need the health department, you don't need nothing. You just do it. And that's just how things are here. You can marry someone. I could marry a girl pretty much any age over 10, and nobody would bat an eye. I could marry 2 or 3 of them. Nobody would bat an eye. I could have as many wives as I want. Makes no difference to anybody. In general, the food is dirt cheap. You couldn't carry $1 worth of tomatoes. And we paid 10 cents a head for cabbage the other day. Mangoes, you can buy 20 or 30 for $1. You know, things are just really cheap here. Now, if you want American stuff, like if you want honey or instant coffee or something from the U.S., you are going to pay 5 prices for it. But if you want the local food and the local stuff, it's so cheap you can't even imagine. I mean, our budget here is $300 a month, and I've never even come close to going over the budget. The electric bill is about $10, $15 a month. The water bill is about $8 or $10 a month. Taxes are about $30 a year. My maid is $30 a month. My security guard is $30 a month. My driver is, about $20 a month. And like I said, it's a beautiful place. Look at this valley right here. This is my backyard, basically. There's Mzuzu over there, the city of Mzuzu. Now, if you need something, hardware-wise, or electrical parts, or plumbing stuff, or part for your car, or whatever, that's the place to go, right over there in the city. It's 1 million people, thousands of businesses. There's little shops all over the place where you buy, your daily supply of stuff. Your everyday things like tomatoes and onions and fish and whatever. Now, if you want beef or something like that, then you have to go into town to get it. But your little shops, there's one right over there, 2 right over there, right over there. They're about 8 feet by 8 feet. And they have, your soap and cooking oil, and a lot of people here cook with charcoal, and they have that, and all your daily stuff. This is the road here. This is our road, and that's pretty much what they all look like. Full of ruts and potholes, and only maybe 5% of the roads in this country are paved. And the ones that are paved haven't been maintained in the last 30 years, and they're full of potholes too. So those are things you have to consider if you're gonna want to live here. If you should catch somebody breaking into your house and you kill them, nobody cares. Nobody will say anything. There's almost no paperwork even. The police come out, they just look into it, and as long as the guy was on your property without your permission, it doesn't make any difference what you did. Everything's fine. Now, on the other hand, if they catch you doing something, like for instance, you're driving drunk and you hit somebody, they will probably pull you out of your car and kill you right there in the street. Not kidding. Totally serious. That's kind of the suburbs of Mzuzu over there, more or less. That over there, at the green roof, is called a chigayo. That's where people take their corn that they grow and get it ground into cornmeal, to make the staple food here, which is called nsima. It's corn flour, and they just boil it and boil it and boil it till it's like Play-Doh. And they eat that twice a day, every day of their life, and they love it. That's just how things are. And of course, if you have any questions about coming here, moving here, living here, vacationing here, whatever, if you leave a question, if I think I need to, I'll leave you my personal email address, and we can contact that way and work out arrangements if you want to come here. And you need help with anything, you need to rent a car, or you need a place to stay, or whatever it is, you want to buy land, whatever it is. That's another thing. Foreigners are allowed to own land here. It's a very simple process. Kind of just like in the US, you just go with the money and buy it, and it's just yours, That's all there is. People here are generally honest. There are, of course, a few thieves, but they know they're risking their lives, so there aren't that many of them. You can, my wife has done this. She's just grab a random teenager, whoever's closest to you, a teenager you never saw before, and you just hand them some money and say, go to the store and buy this and this and this, and they'll do it, and they'll bring you back your change, and they don't expect anything for it. Some of the things like that you're not going to find in the U.S. You're going to see women carrying 8 or 10 gallons of water. That's 60 to 80 pounds of water on their head all the time. I mean, it's just a normal thing. And they'll go take a 100-pound bag of corn, put on their head, and walk for miles. That's how they do. And this house over here has been a couple of years. They haven't done anything to it, but they bought some more bricks, which means I assume they're going to finish it. Now, the bricks are less than 5 cents a piece, but I'm done using bricks. We're going to make our own cinder blocks. We're going to use a good mixture of cement and sand, and that's what we're going to use from now on, because these bricks just fall apart in a couple of years. I'm not doing that anymore. The people that put the metal roofs on, it doesn't matter what they tell you. Oh, I've done 100 roofs. Well, they probably did 100 roofs and did them all wrong. Because every time you see a roof on a house, you'll see these little silver patches all over it, and that's from where they had to come back and fix a bunch of leaks. And this is not a good thing, but hardly anybody has the internet here, and so there's no way to look people up. There's no Angie's List, there's nothing like that. There's no Better Business Bureau. The things that we're used to in America, you just do not have here. So you have to consider these things if you're coming here. But the people are very friendly in general. They're very honest in general. There's a lake here that's 11,000 square miles. It's the 4th largest lake in the world. It's a beautiful place. There's thousands of mountains here. There's millions and millions and millions of acres of uninhabited land you can buy. If you're into that kind of thing, you can buy land and farm it. You can buy land and raise animals. You can buy land and open a hunting lodge. There's lions and hyenas and wild pigs and wild buffaloes and elephants and crocodiles and all kinds of stuff, and gazelles and all sorts of things that you're not going to find anywhere else. And you can have those in your backyard if that's what you want to do. You get land near Luwandi or near Nyika Plateau, and that's what you're going to have. You're going to have, leopards and wild pigs and stuff right in your backyard. So that's a pretty exciting thing the first time you see them. Now you may also have puff adders and black mambas and other nasties in your backyard too. But, you know, it's no worse than Florida. They got all cottonmouths and rattlesnakes and everything else in Florida too, so it's the same difference. Here in Mizuzu, it does get chilly in what they call the winter time. It gets down into the 40s sometimes, and but in the summer, of course, it's, you know, 90 degrees every day. But there's no humidity, none. So unless you're in the rainy season, so you know, you have that, and if there's any questions about anything, if you're seriously considering moving here, or if you just have a general question about something, don't hesitate to ask, because you know, I could live anywhere in the world that I want, and I picked here. I mean, we do have a house in the U.S. and we go back, you know, 3 or 4 months at a time. We're going to the Philippines and build a couple of houses over there, but those are just for rental or Airbnb. And pretty soon we'll have Airbnb rentals here too. We're building some right now as we speak. But any questions you might have, just let me know. I have excuse me. I have hundreds of other videos about life in general in Malawi, some on the Philippines. So watching those would educate you as far as, you know, just everyday life. And I have some videos on local prices and things like that. So if you have any questions, let us know. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for your time.